Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Money is emotive tonight, and we want to help diversify our finances by dumping that old school savings account that you had, your parents had, and your grandparents for one that could be much more financially beneficial to you. My next guest has the details.
And joining us on The Factor Uncensored, we're talking with Lucy Petry, attorney and CPA, so she knows the numbers and how to get you out of trouble at the same time. So, Lucy, one of the things it took me a while to get and to learn. One day I checked my savings account and realized, wait a minute, I'm not earning any interest on this savings account. And it was something insignificant like 0.02%. And I realized there are a lot of new high yield savings accounts that are out there where you can earn anywhere from 3 to 4, sometimes as high as 5% on your savings that you may have just sat there and it's not even making you any money.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking when I see somebody has had an account for a long time and it's just this old school savings account, and
Yeah.
they're getting like $5 a year maybe, and the money has been sitting there. And you know the government, the
And, and,
bank
and
has been using.
you're not joking, Lucy, because you can have like $5,000, $10,000, and you get something like $50 or less. For
Yeah,
all of
probably
that time, your
less.
money's been sitting there, and the bank has
Yeah.
been using your money.
The bank is using the money, and then like if you moved to just maybe a money market or something else, you could be getting quite a bit more money. Now it's not going to be like a huge amount of money, but I would rather get a couple hundred than $5. I
Exactly, exactly. So let's establish now. These are mainly the traditional banks where you're getting these low interest rates where you can walk in, because the
Yeah.
overhead is high. So they're not paying you a lot of interest. But there are online high yield savings accounts that people can get involved with. There are many banks out there that are online only, and they're FDIC insured, meaning your deposit is insured up to $250,000 in most cases. So how do you get to some of those online accounts, and is it difficult to open those accounts?
It is super easy if you just search high yield savings account, and what you said about FDIC insured, that's key, right? That's how you know it's a legit bank. It is a proper bank. They just do not have a storefront like a lot of the big banks do. These are virtual banks, and they're just like regular banks, and they're willing to pay more for the use of your money. And I think the rates can be as high as 4 or 5% right now,
Mhm.
something like that. Yeah, so that's really nice. It's definitely better than the 0.01% just sitting on your major main bank account. So you would have to go and open an account online and then transfer the money. Some banks will require a minimum amount, and which makes sense to maintain your account.
Mhm.
And this is not a CD. This is different from a CD. A CD, a certificate of deposit, requires that you commit a certain amount of time to leaving the money in the account. For this high yield savings accounts, there's no minimum time that you have to keep the money there. Of course, you have to leave the money there in order to earn the savings over time. But you can withdraw your money at any time, unlike a CD account that
Mhm.
has a penalty for taking the money out early.
Absolutely. And I would say for those who are not used to dealing with these online banks and the high yield savings account, in many instances, as we said, there are no storefronts, but they will give you a debit card where you can withdraw the money out, I guess, up to about $1,000. Some may have higher withdrawal limits, and many of them will cover those debit cards, but you can't just walk into it. So a lot of people don't feel comfortable. And if they deal in a lot of cash, Lucy, they want to be able to take that money to the bank and put it in, but you can't do it that way with an online account.
Yeah, if you're dealing in cash, it's going to be you're going to have to walk in somewhere and deposit that money. I haven't been to the bank myself personally in a long time.
We don't
Uh,
really go to the bank anymore.
right, right, you don't. So I guess if you deal with a lot of cash, you have to. But if otherwise, I mean, you can take the money out of an ATM if you need to, with your card. That works as an ATM card, so you can have access to cash to take out, but you put it in. I don't know how you would do that. But I mean, I haven't been inside the bank in forever.
And
I
and
can even
and
deposit the checks by taking a picture.
Don't go anywhere. We'll continue this discussion after the break. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. It's time to move into the future with our savings accounts. My next guest has some advice on how you can make that upgrade while earning some money. We continue our discussion.
also there's another uh, avenue people can take if they want to earn interest on their money. And we're not talking about rich people, we're talking about everyday folk. Everyday folk. You can do a money market account, like many of your brokerages, like your Fidelity, your Vanguard, your Charles Schwab. Like at Fidelity, you can start an account and use it like a checking account, and you still
Yeah,
earn interest on your money. You don't have to start with a $3,000 investment. You can just start and open it and then put some money into it.
it's
So
pretty
tell us
easy.
the benefits of these money market accounts.
Yeah, so the money market accounts, and you said, the everyday folk, but it's important. You want to have your emergency fund that's sitting there, but you want to be earning some money without having the risk of the stock market, right?
Hmm.
That's what the money market account does. It works like a checking account. You can take money out. You can just let the money sit there, um, but in the meantime, you are earning interest. You are earning income on that money that is sitting there. And Fidelity, I like Fidelity. They make it very easy. You can open an account online.
Absolutely. And the interest rates are just as competitive. The difference between like a Fidelity and I think Vanguard is like they'll pay you dividends, but which would be basically the same thing. You're getting dividends compared to um, interest rate.
Interest. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me say something about that. Interest is even better because the tax rate I'm sorry, dividends is even better because the
Mhm.
tax rate on dividends, it's even lower than the tax rate on interest. You get a preferential tax rate on dividends, so that's even better. Yeah.
And for those who are looking for any other options, because we're trying to get people out of the old way of thinking here on the Factor
Hmm.
Uncensored, since the veil has been lifted on me, and I can see clearly now that the rain is gone. Was that an easy line I stole
I
from a
love
song?
it.
But there are these options out there instead of just doing like your grandparents did and keeping it in the bank in the savings account at the bank that you can walk into. Some banks, you can still get a reasonable rate. Capital One is one of them with their savings account, but most of them are giving you like pennies on the dollar. But there are the options now of the high yield savings account and the brokerage accounts. And I want to emphasize it. And Lucy, you should too, to the viewer, you're the expert here, that you don't have to be rich to do this. It's just regular old school savings account. You used to get a
Yes.
toaster with it. Now you get better interest rates with it.
Yeah, everybody, that money that is sitting around for in case of an emergency, or that you're just saving for a trip. Yeah, put that money into a high yield or a money market account, so that even if you make $50 instead of the 5 cents, it's a nice meal. I rather have $50.05. So it's for everybody, right? We're not talking millions, but everybody should watch out for that. So if you have an old savings account, go and check right now. If it's tied to the big bank account, big box storefront bank account that you've had for a long time. Maybe you opened that account when you were 18 and have that little savings account. Maybe you've been keeping a little money there. Go have a look and see how much you have earned in interest. And if it's just
Be shocked.
you'll be shocked, right? And yeah, and then consider moving it to the high yield savings account. Especially if you have already have this account, it will be easier to transfer to an online bank perhaps, or to something like Fidelity or Charles Schwab. And you can do it all electronically. They make it very easy to transfer.
Absolutely. And of course, you want to make sure that online bank is FDIC insured, meaning the federal
Yes.
government is protecting your money for a deposit on the average up to $250,000. If you need to separate it, if you got that money like Lucy and you need to separate the $250,000 to various bank accounts, then you can do that to make sure your money is protected.